I don't know nobody that can do it like this. I've been on the ground like this, like this, like this. Do you like this? Don't nobody do you like this, like this, like this. This is my shit. You be like, this about as good as it gets. Do it like this. Do it like.
Welcome to episode 3 of the Wrestling Tonight podcast. I am your host, Blake, and we are here to cover the go home shows to Money in the Bank with Raw and SmackDown Live. We start off there in London this week. They're on the European tour. They're wrapping that up before they head back home to Money in the Bank. And it's really what you expect. There's a lot of big new things going on leading up to Money in the Bank, which has you wondering what's going to happen here. We'll start off with Monday Night Raw. We have a nice, interesting main event set up. Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin. Winner of that match, or not Baron Corbin, I'm sorry, Braun Strowman. Baron Corbin's featured in the match with the Ricochet on the card. But yeah, Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman lead off in a match. Winner of that gets the last spot in the Money in the Bank match for the men's side. Sami Zayn pulls off a surprising win. He gets the help from Baron Corbin, which really helps him. Drew McIntyre was also involved in helping him get the win. Those two guys are very, very strong. They have been in the side of Strowman for a long time now. But yeah, helps Sami Zayn get a big win. He's now in the Money in the Bank men's match, which really makes you wonder what's going on here. I'm actually glad they took Strowman out of this match. He really wasn't meant to be in this. He's very just like, he's something that you don't need. Like, this a gimmick match needs new faces, new people, and he's won it last year, and he didn't even win the title off of it, so what's the point of throwing him in this year? We'll look down the card. Like I said, Corbin faced off against Ricochet in a match. He beats him. End of days. Nice, easy match. The Revival are back on their high horse. They had a nice little segment saying they are vow to end their embarrassment, which we'll see how that goes for them because they haven't had any luck with that. The show kicked off with Miz TV. The Miz had SmackDown's Live, Roman Reigns on there, coming over from the nice wild card rule set up last week. And yeah, they sit and talk, and they both kind of see eye to eye because Shane's been messing with them. But yeah, so this leads up to a match with Elias and Bobby Lashley. And the match ends in disqualification. Roman Reigns and The Miz get it with Shane interfering. But yeah, now we have Elias and Reigns set up for Money in the Bank, which is going real good. Miz and Shane. So we're strongly building those two matches right there. AJ Styles, Seth Rollins. They have a nice video package setting up their titled match going on at Money in the Bank, which would be really fun to watch. Those two guys hardly ever disappoint. After that, we had Nikki Cross makes a return to Monday Night Raw after figuring out what side she's going to be on for the Superstar Shakeup. She comes out looking different. She isn't the dark, creepy, crazy Nikki Cross that we know her as. She had a backstage segment with Alexa Bliss. They sit there and talk. Cross tells Bliss that, hey, you can talk to me, I'll listen. Alexa Bliss starts rambling about what's been going on the last couple weeks, her baggage getting lost. on their flight over, and just everything that's been happening with Naomi and everyone else. But yeah, so this leads to the match: Nikki Cross, Naomi, Natalia, Dana Brooke, and don't get me wrong, it's to set up with Bliss being in the match, but Nikki Cross takes her spot, and yeah, Nikki Cross picks up the win. Newly Nikki Cross, maybe she's gonna be with Alexa Bliss in the upcoming weeks. Who knows what could happen? And then in the match, after really wasn't a match, but we had the contract signings for the women's title matches that are going on. Money in the Bank, Becky two belts, Becky Lynch, defending both her Raw and SmackDown Live women's title against Lacey Evans of Raw and Charlotte of SmackDown Live. Three of those gals go back and forth for a little bit, but it ends with Charlotte and Lacey Evans putting Becky through the table, having them stand tall. And we all know how that ends out for the wrestlers who stand tall. It's the one golden rule. You don't want to stand tall leading up to the pay-per-view. The last match, the last week. You don't want to be the one standing tall. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I still believe that she's going to drop one of the titles to either Lacey or Charlotte. I don't know which one. I don't know which show they want her on. I prefer her on SmackDown, but with Raw having Ronda out as she's getting surgery on her hand and she wants to take personal time off to create a family. I can see them filling that hole they have and having Charlotte take the SmackDown title, going over to SmackDown and start building again. But man, the biggest segment of the night that I'll get to in a minute after we give a nice talk about Samoa Joe, who's just been on a rampage with his promos as of late. Man, like, I've always been a big fan of Samoa Joe back in his days at Ring of Honor, TNA, but now coming up through the ranks, NXT, now Monday Night Raw, he has just found a groove. I am praying he doesn't drop his title to Ray. I wouldn't be upset if he did. I've been a big fan of Ray as well for a long time, but man, Samoa Joe is just on fire with anything he touches, and he gives a nice little talk to Dominic, who's been talked about a lot, who's been showing his face backstage, and his big home thing, he vows to turn him into a man. And for one thing I know, Ray takes it to heart if you start messing with his family. That's one guy you don't want to mess with about family. But yeah, one big segment I've been waiting for, and it's finally happened, is Bray Wyatt, the Firefly Funhouse. He vowed this week, I have a secret, I'm going to share it with you. And man, like, I'm terrified of this Bray Wyatt. He's not just oh, I'm the man, follow me, follow the buzzers, my fireflies. So, comes out talking, and he's just, I have my secret to show you. I need your guys' help. Listen to me, please. He goes on, talks, and he goes, instead of me being who I once was, I'm still that guy. But I've learned how to harness them. I learned how to control them. He said, I need you guys to be with me. Follow me. I'll show you the way. And man, if you guys weren't a Bray Wyatt fan before that, you better be now, because he is going to go on a rampage once they put him in the ring. He goes, a little few things. Just, God, words can't even describe how I'm excited for Bray Wyatt. He's he's what we wanted after all this time. He was supposed to replace The Undertaker as the dark entity of this wrestling entertainment world, but he really never lived up to it. And then Finn Balor comes along with his demon, and he kind of took that role, but when those two crossed paths, it didn't deliver. I see Finn Balor red. He's on SmackDown Live, so he's blue, but Demon's red. It's always been red. I could see him kind of being on the same path as Kane. Back just the red and black just type thing. Bray Wyatt's more dark. He's just sinister. We'll get talking about Aleister Black here later on with Sinister. But yeah, Bray Wyatt introduced, he has a clown mask on. Very sharp teeth just showing. The Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is playing in the background. Just cameras going crazy. Everything's going crazy on this segment, and just wow. He is here. He doesn't look like he's going away anytime soon. And can we just get excited for that? But yeah, this was Monday Night Raw. Leave out talking about Mojo Rawley's new gimmick. He's just here, showing up about time. Beats Apollo Crews in a quick match, showing off his new way. But yeah, Monday Night Raw, really good. If you sat down and watched it, it has its moments. 3-hour show, but leading up to Money in the Bank, which can really be exciting here. Turning to SmackDown Live, really another just build-up show. That's all it was a build-up show. There was 3 matches in this whole night. This whole 12-hour show, 3 matches. We had our fatal 4-way between Andrade, Randy Orton, Ali, Finn Balor, which really turned out to be good. And man, like, I enjoy build-up shows like this. They're just relaxing. You want to get to Money in the Bank. You don't want to rush it, but they really start just feeding you it right online. So, yeah, we had the newly named Kabaki Warriors, which has Asuka, Kairi Sane, and their new manager, Paige, go on against Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville. Their name's pretty just, it's odd, but it's Japan. They kind of want to keep that in line. So, I can see where they're going with this. But yeah. Fire and Desire picking up the match. Got a good win. It's interesting to see where they go. Iconics are on commentary, so maybe we'll get a match tossed out at us later this week, leading up to Money in the Bank. Maybe they'll be on the kickoff show. Who knows? But yeah. And the third match of the night, which was a handicap match. We had newly crowned SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions, Rowan and Daniel Bryan, teaming up with Shane and Elias. They go on to fight the Usos, who are over from the Wild Card Rule, who's been very upset with how the SmackDown Live Tag Team division has gone since they left, and the Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, the big dog. So yeah, the Bloodline's back, one night only, not even advertised as much, but they lead into a nice 3-on-4 handicap tag team match which were very kicked off. This was a long match, but nonetheless, this was your main point of the night. You have Roman Reigns, Elias leading up their match. You have Daniel Bryan, Rowan, who are going at it. Usos very upset at them, which later the night they get marked into they're defending their tag team titles. The SmackDown Live titles against Raw's Usos. So you kind of can already picture how that's going to happen. But yeah, end of the match, the team of Shane, Elias, Rowan, Bryan pick up the win. And they start beating up everyone along the way. This leads to The Miz running out and start beating up everyone with the steel chair. Defend off everyone. Shane runs away. So right there we have 3 matches set up that we were foreshadowing. So then, last segment of the night, we had Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, come out and start beating the crap out of Kofi Kingston. Now Kofi showed up. It was supposed to be the Kevin Owens show. And really, what was that? So, this leads to Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn beating the crap out of Kofi, leading up to their title match, Money in the Bank, Owens versus Kingston, WWE Championship match. So yeah, we get that. They really, I don't know what they're doing with Sami Zayn. He shows up yet again for another weekend. Maybe he'll be on Owens' side. Maybe he'll turn on. Maybe he'll cash in on Kevin Owens. We don't know what can happen. This wild card rule they really threw out at us. And we're going as we go. I can't explain anything that's happening with it. I hope more happens with it. Maybe they'll cut it out. Maybe it's just a thing leading up to certain pay-per-views. I don't know. I know that the pay-per-views are cross-platform now. So maybe we're going to get some more cross-platform matches. I hope they don't overdo it. I know in October, SmackDown Live's moving to Fox Sports. So maybe they're trying to get every superstar they can on both shows. But the latest I heard from months ago was SmackDown Live wants to keep the superstar shakeup. That's what kept them interested in this whole thing. But we'll see as we go. Other little things that happened within this night. Aleister Black sitting down talking about his promos. Can't wait to see him in the ring. He's back as the sinister Aleister Black, the Black Mass. And hopefully he leads to being what he was in NXT. Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The SmackDown Live contestants held little promos, each of them. But nothing spectacular out of it. Becky and Charlotte get a video package after what happened on Raw, which was very similar to Seth and AJ, just building up to the match, which this is going to be a good one on the night. Lacey Evans pops up on SmackDown Live. She vows to beat Becky Lynch. And good old Lars Sullivan shows up, scaring a few people off, which I know there's a lot of news going on around Lars Sullivan, so I wish they would have kept him off TV because this is really just hurting their image about it. I know what was said by Lars Sullivan in the past, and it was best to just keep him off TV. I don't know how to handle the situation. I know they said he was quote unquote sorry. He told everyone he was sorry about it, but actions like that just can't be taken lightly. You're a professional, you're held to the highest standards, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, that's really all I have on both shows. It was just a really just small build up, get to Money in the Bank, and hopefully we crash safely to that. But yeah, I'm hoping I'm gonna put out a Money in the Bank preview podcast. I'm aiming for Friday. Maybe I'll put it up tomorrow. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, that's really all I have to talk about. There really isn't much going on with the two shows. We're just building up to Money in the Bank. Like I said, that's what's going on right now. That's the objective, to get to Money in the Bank. All the news I've seen this morning while I was at the dentist. TNT has announced that All Elite Wrestling will be heading over there. And with their pay-per-view coming up, end of the month, the All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing, they announced it's going to be on BR Live, Bleacher Report Live, which was held all the Champion League's matchups. If you guys are into European soccer, they held all those matchups over the course of the season. I'm a big Manchester City fan, so they won on Saturday, Championship Sunday. But yeah, that's really it outside of WWE. Again, my Twitter is at WT _ podcast _ if you guys want to give me a follow there. I'm going to start live tweeting the pay-per-views and get to the shows, hopefully, if I have enough time to do that. My Instagram page is at Wrestling Tonight Podcast, which I am posting on there a lot. When I put up new podcasts, I get on there. I'll post them, let everyone know that they're live. They're going on YouTube. You guys know that. You guys listen to them on YouTube. But yeah, that's really all I have for this week. Like I said, I'm going to get to Money in the Bank preview and then talk about that after. But yeah, that's all I have to offer for you guys today. This is Blake. Episode 3 is a wrap. And I'm off. Thank you.
Look at my click from the jump like this. Got over the hump like this. Now we up, now we up like this. People like tough like this. Never give a fuck like this. They be in the club like flip, but they never get the love like this.